Hello.
Hello.
Good morning or afternoon, wherever you are. If you're in the UK, it's afternoon. So
Is that your UK
Yeah.
greeting?
Well, it's my Mrs. Doubtfire greeting, which is
What?
it's the jokiest afternoon.
Okay.
I don't have a really. I think I have a really good British accent, but then I'm like not so confident in it. I feel like if I use my British accent around a real British person, I would be making a fool of myself.
I wonder if we go there and try that.
Afternoon.
Probably get punched.
By a British person? I don't know. We're not in New York. I mean,
Never know.
you never know. In the squalors of London. Well, hello, good morning. Anyway, having a conversation about nothing. How are you? Today is day 4. We're talking about trusting God in the process of our difficult times. And just to preface today, so you're prepared, I just wanted to let you know this week, every day we've been talking about the trusting the process, and we keep talking about how it's so interesting that we planned this a month ahead, just the topic, and not realizing that this week was going to be a process that we had to trust God through. We had a virus land in our house this week. It's not COVID, don't worry. But it's definitely a virus, and it's been attacking everyone. And namely, the good man here has the craziest voice changes over the week. And so you can enjoy that during our broadcast today. Everyone on our teams have been super enjoying his new voice. Every time I get sick, I sound like I run a diner.
Yeah. Everybody, I guess I was entertaining everybody with my voice yesterday.
We were on a meeting yesterday, and everyone couldn't keep a straight face because he sounded like he should be doing voiceovers.
Nobody was taking me seriously.
No, they were all like this. Everyone was laughing because you sound like Wolfman Javie. And it's amazing. Good morning, Annie. Good morning. Beautiful souls. So anyway, that's what we're doing this week. We're trusting God in the process of difficult times. Sometimes it's just a virus. Sometimes it's heart disease, right? Sometimes it's another situation. But this is how we are handling our difficult times, is trusting God. So the first things first, though, let's do some housekeeping. There is a link in the description that is to the study that we're using to source for this discussion. And it is on the YouVersion Bible app or Bible.com. So go ahead and click that link. If you're on mobile, it'll take you to download the app if you haven't already. You can do that. And if you're on desktop, it'll take you to just the website. And then either way, you'll land on this exact study, so you don't have to search around for it, so you can follow along with us. Hey, good morning or afternoon, Great Britain. Thank you, Gator. I was hoping you would approve. She's my UK friend that shows up all the time on here. Afternoon, because it is. It's like 3. What is it right now? We're 8 hours apart. We discovered this morning, so it's like 4 o'clock over there. It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. I sound like an idiot. Okay, so anyway,
just stop.
If you don't, you love it. If you don't know us, I'm Jessica, and this is my husband, Javie. And welcome if you're a new person here. If you're just a newcomer and you haven't seen us before and you're checking us out, you want to know who these two nerds are. This is Jessica and Javie, and we are with Underdog Ninja Foundation. This is the these discussions we do every morning, Tuesday through Saturday at 8 a.m. Whatever, I don't know what time it is. 8 a.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Standard. Wait, say that in your voice again.
Pacific.
Standard time. Very dramatic. And we do these as part of our nonprofit. This is a discussion that we do for the foundation that is specifically aimed at helping us fight heart disease with the 3 things that we focus the most on, which is faith, character, and action. That's having faith as the foundation, which is what we focus most on here in this broadcast. And then that builds our character, which then leads to taking action. Hopefully we're taking action, right? Because if we have faith and we're building our character and becoming the person that we want to be, none of that matters unless we're doing something with it in our life, if we're showing the fruit of that, if we're taking action and impacting people's lives and our own. So that's what we focus on here in these studies, in these discussions. So that's what we want to let you know we're doing here.
Yes.
Anything you got over there?
No.
He's like, I don't want to talk.
I'm reserving my voice.
You're reserving. It's very calming. So are you ready to dive in then? Because I know you don't got a lot to say today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
do it. It's like the Jessica show.
It's like the Jessica show and her sidekick, Wolfman Javie. That's dating us, by the way, if you don't know who Wolfman Jack is. You won't know that joke. For those of you who know who Wolfman Jack is, you'll know. Okay, so the benefits of trusting God, that's what we're talking about today, the benefits of trusting God. So, hey, yesterday we talked about the consequences of not trusting God. Today we're on to a better subject, the benefits.
And maybe it would be more popular.
Trusting God. Everyone yesterday was like,
we're out.
We're out. I don't want to talk. Peace. I don't want to talk about the consequences. Okay, so today we're talking about the benefits. And this says, the benefits of trusting God are immeasurable. That is true. While the Bible is filled with stories of those who didn't trust God, it is also packed with stories of those who did. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den and came out alive, prompting the king to worship God. David faced Goliath and conquered the giant. Esther came before the king, and even though it could have resulted in death and saved a nation. Even though it could have resulted in death, it saved a nation. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego walked into the blazing furnace and came out without a single singed hair. Trusting in God has that kind of power, a kind of power that isn't just reserved for those in the Bible, but a power that still lives today for you and me. A power that bends the knees of kings to worship, conquers giants, saves nations, and protects individuals. Psalm 9:10 testifies to this power. For those who put their trust in God, he does not forsake them. This means that God will be with you in your trust journey, and that's a promise you can take to the bank. He will not give up, turn on, or go back on you or his word. He will protect, defend, and honor you. Maybe right now you're facing a situation that calls out all the trust you can muster. The enemy may whisper lies into your ear and tempt you away from what is good and right. However, you must stand firm. Trust God's process. The benefits of doing this will outshine what you can see this side of heaven, but mostly God will be on your side. Go with that knowledge as you make your decision to follow and trust him. And Psalm 9:10 says, for those who know your name, trust in you. For you, O Lord, do not abandon those who search for you. I can vouch 1,000% for this perspective because it's not like a genie. I mean, there are a lot of benefits to trusting God. I mean, think about it. If your kids trust you and go in the direction that you would want them to go, like if you're like, hey, if you make this decision in this relationship or this financial decision or this decision about your education or this decision about whatever, and you know all about it, it just seems like a simple life situation that they just don't know anything about yet. If they were just to simply trust you, what would be the benefits of that? Well, things work out better, right? They can avoid pain. They don't have to worry about not having the most, they don't have to worry about missing the opportunities, right? That would be on the right straight path. Now, God does allow us to go through, adversity, which is what we're talking about this week, is going through adversity. God allows this, right? Our adversity isn't always based on consequences from our choices. Sometimes it's just adversity because it's resistance that God's letting us have so that we can grow. So we have to, don't get it twisted. Like this isn't, everything that bad that ever happens and all the pain we go through is based on our consequences for our not obedience or not,
sometimes,
or.
Right. Sometimes it's just resistance to strengthen us.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes it's just a situation that it's adversity or not. Everything's a path. So it's either a path out of our own choices. Mm-hmm. It's a path into a new us. It's a path into positioning us. Keep in mind, sometimes God is calling us to something that has nothing to do with us. So sometimes our path has everything to do with what God is doing in other people's lives, right? So would we be here helping people with heart disease if we hadn't had to battle this in our lives for so long?
Right.
No, we wouldn't have ever been in a position to do so or had the desire to, not in the way that we are. I mean, there's just no way. This has all been led to simply because we had a lot of adversity in our lives. And by the way, not just with the heart disease, a lot of other adversity that actually I personally pull from, I know you do too, to coach people. Because we have a coaching program outside of our nonprofit, and we coach people with going through really difficult times in their health. And here's the thing, is that there's so much that we're able to pull from to impact other people's lives, just specifically because of all the other adversity that we've been through, aside from heart disease or any other medical challenges. So it benefits all of our coaching.
Right. So many times we talk about adversity or problems that we all face in life in general. But the benefit I see in fighting heart disease, in facing those challenges, I see things in a different light that most people don't. You have to manage your stress. You have to take a very cognitive approach to your stress level. Okay. Most people day to day will let that stress compound. Someone that's fighting heart disease like myself can't afford that, because that stress will affect me physically. I can't afford to do that.
Right.
So there's things that I have to do to manage that. Am I perfect at it? No. But because I'm always striving to be better, that's that resistance I'm talking about. That's that thing in my life that I'm battling, but I'm getting stronger and I'm getting better every day at working at that particular thing.
Right.
Same thing goes with my physical activity and my nutrition. Is it perfect? No. Can I do what I used to be able to do? Not quite, but I adapt, I adjust, right? I overcome.
Right.
And I don't think I would be doing that at that level if I wasn't fighting this disease. I never take, and I don't ever encourage you to allow this disease to overcome you in a way where it dictates your life. It dictates the way you don't engage, that you don't, instead of engaging the resistance, you ignore it, right?
You let it overtake you.
Right. It's the same as, well, I'm not going to work out because I don't like how it feels. I don't like lifting weights, or I don't like doing cardio, or I don't like anything you think of going to the gym. I don't like it because I don't like sore muscles. I don't like the strain that it puts on my body. Yet it's that strain, it's that resistance that makes you stronger, not just your muscles, but your bones. And then it gets down to your hormones, right?
Right.
It helps. That resistance actually helps you to think better with a clearer mind and with a better perspective. All that resistance causes that. Well, I'm talking about the gym, but if you talk about that in the spiritual realm, if we approach our adversity in a different way, if we start approaching our adversity in a way that it's an opportunity, okay, to overcome, to an opportunity to be better, an opportunity to discover a part of you that you never thought was possible. Maybe you never even thought about it. Right?
Well, and the thing is that trusting God, what I was talking about before too, with this study is saying, right in the text, well, you're going to benefit from trusting God because you're going to have favor. He's going to have your back. He's all these things. It doesn't mean necessarily that you are going to avoid all pain. Pain is part of life. But what I do know is that even in situations that, I would even have to say, wow, it's surprising that God allowed that to happen, in our lives, several situations. I do know this is that looking back on those situations, I can see every little thing that could have happened, that should have happened in a normal situation, in any other case, but God allowed only a certain amount of it. So he's completely involved, which tells me, okay, so what was allowed to happen was for a purpose. And we just sometimes can't explain that. We can't reconcile that. Why would you allow even that? That's terrible. Well, because he protected us, though, from the worst possible scenario, because then there were things in these situations that were like not explainable. There was protection in place and safeguards and situations that were avoided. I'm trying to explain this in a way without going through entire situations and explaining them. But you've been in a situation where it's like, wow, I can't believe this happened, except this should have happened and this should have gotten worse and this should have blown up in front of our faces, but it didn't. There were things that were avoided and you had protection. So he's giving you favor if you're trusting him through the process of the adversity that he is allowing, and also trusting him through the process of things when there's not even difficult times, and trusting him what about when it's good? What about trusting God when things are going well? That's something that we also fail at because we think, well, we're only supposed to be trusting God when we need to, right? But God's always there. He's always protecting us. There's always adversity around that he's keeping from us, that he's protecting us from. And the adversity that he does allow is actually probably a very small part of the adversity that's possible in our lives. And that's the thing is, think about what could possibly happen to us on a daily basis. What you see happen in this world is possible to happen to us all the time. But God is allowing only a certain amount so that we have the right amount of resistance for growth, but also the right amount of direction. There has to be situations that we are put in so that we are put in front of the right people. We're put in front of people that God needs us to help or that he needs them to help us. He creates divine connections. We were talking the other day with CL, how God expedites relationships. He just makes them happen so quickly and kind of pushes them forward the way that he needs them to be pushed forward, and expedites that process where you could be friends with somebody in a way that it's like you've been friends with them all along and you've known them a month, and that's something that God does. So these are situations where that's the benefits of trusting God, is that you have to be open to the opportunities and the possibilities through your adversity. There's so much that happened during even 2020. How many people found more opportunity and, more growth because they just decided that this was an opportunity.
Yeah.
This was an opportunity for growth. They took the adversity as a challenge and said, okay, this is going to happen. There's nothing I can do about it. I need to shift my attitude. I need to pivot. We said pivot all year long. Everybody said pivot because that's what we had to do.
They didn't just say pivot. How'd they say it?
Pivot! Because we're all Ross for all year. And so you're so funny. So it's something that, we had to all do, but the people who grew the most had, a different attitude than the people that didn't. No, I'm not talking about people who had to go through like losing a family member. There's things to be said about that, but I'm not talking about the extreme stuff that happened to people. That's a tragedy, and I'm sorry for that. But I'm really just talking about, people who went through a lot of hard times during 2020, but I'm not talking about tragedy.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
There is that too.
That's the thing is it wasn't just the virus.
Right.
The virus caused so many other things that people didn't expect.
Yeah.
Losing their jobs and
their businesses.
And then a lot of relationships fell apart because they didn't know how to deal with being in close quarters and then losing their job and all the stress.
But even that, I've seen how many people have told me, I believe that it was meant to be that I lost my job during COVID because I was forced into a position where I started my own business, and it was something that I've been wanting to do.
And so many people have done that.
Right. And, or whatever it happens to be.
Exactly.
I want to bring some.
Yeah, let's take first of all, I want to say good morning to a couple of people.
Good morning, Monica.
Good morning, Monica. And then Annie's been.
Yeah, so let's bring up some comments. So, perfectly imperfect, she said, that's where we have to put the real value on what we want, why we want what we want, and in most cases what we need. God allows us to go through adversity to make us stronger and prepare us for preventing other more severe situations. Exactly. Thank you. That is a great point, Annie. Absolutely. So sometimes God's allowing us only so much adversity to be able to strengthen us and prepare us for the somewhat more drastic situations that may be coming down the pike, right? That's happened to us. Exactly right. I know that's happened to you too, Annie, because there were situations in your life recently that I don't think you would have been prepared for if you hadn't had gone through, excuse me, your heart disease journey. So absolutely, completely agree. Another thing you said, you have a tendency of looking at the negative things, and you are so right. Yeah. And the thing is that most people aren't going to look at the silver lining. They're not going to look at what God is doing in a situation because he's so powerful. They're like, well, okay, but why wouldn't you just not have any of this happen? Why would you just avoid it all?
But just going back to what I said about avoidance. Avoidance isn't strengthening us. Avoidance isn't giving us tools to navigate the waters ahead.
Right.
And it's not giving us the tools to teach us for future things too. It's not teaching us how to fish.
Right.
What people want is just to fish.
Right.
They just want God to
hand it to me.
give it to me.
Yeah.
But how much better is it if he teaches us to fish? If he teaches us and gives us the tools, isn't that gift better because it keeps giving?
Right.
Yesterday you're talking about the two examples about $10,000, and one person it was given to him, the other they had to work for it. The thing is the other person that it was given, they have $10,000, they spend that $10,000, and then that's it.
Right.
But the one that worked for that $10,000, yes, they probably spent that $10,000, but now he knows how to make more. $10,000, 20, 30,
right.
And it just keeps compounding. So that keeps giving, but he had to work for it, and he had to probably learn some hard lessons along the way, and that's something that.
But those are gifts
we need to continue to learn.
Well, here's the thing: when this is talking about the benefits of trusting God, sometimes the benefit of trusting God is our adversity. Yeah. The benefit becomes whatever we decide. Sometimes what our benefits are, right? Our benefit package with God, right? We decide if we want the most benefit out of trusting him, then it also means that we need to take a minute and look at how we are, or what our perspective is, what our outlook is on our adversity. We can get more benefits through our adversity if we would just trust God through the process. If our outlook would be, well, I want the most benefit out of this situation because otherwise it's a waste. See, that's my attitude. That's part of the reason why I look to God immediately. When something bad happens, immediately I'm like, okay, this isn't going to waste my time. This isn't going to be for nothing. This isn't going to be a total, a drag on all my resources, my energy, my time, my money, my health. Like, what are we getting out of this, everyone? And, so that it's purposeful and productive. Even though we have to go through pain, I want it to be more like a workout. Like, I have resistance and I'm getting something out of it. So I have to go through this, but I have a benefit on the other side. And that's a choice. God wants to give us that benefit. He wants the adversity to be productive. And it's something that, we could just go sit out in the garage and, just beat ourselves up and have the same amount of pain we would have if we worked out, but it's not productive, right? You have to choose your pain. The pain, people say that a lot. Choose your pain. Choose the negative thing you want to go through. Do you want to go through the pain of life without trusting God and see how that works out? Because I've done that. Or do you want to go through the pain of facing the adversity that God puts before you and then getting the benefit on the other side? Either way, you have to go through it. That's how life is. That's nature. That's the way that we're set up as humans, is that we're going to have adversity. Yeah. But it's all about what do we want out of this? Do we want growth? Do we want to become the person that we always wanted to be? And by the way, that's one of the benefits of trusting God, is becoming the person that you want to be. That is a huge benefit. If I had never trusted God, I would never have become this person. And I'm still becoming her. I'm still becoming the woman that I've always wanted to be. It's a process. It's going to be that way until I die. I mean, until then. So, but I've come so far. I mean, in the last, couple decades, especially in the last decade, and even every year. Gosh, even in the last couple years, I've changed. Just both of us have. We just continue to because we choose to. And that's part of the benefit of trusting him as well.
Well, I think it accelerates that change to the person that we want to be.
Accelerates is a good word.
It accelerates when we lean into that resistance, when we lean into those things. Because look, we've taken on more responsibility, more things in the last few years.
Yeah.
That most people wouldn't.
Yep.
Right. God called us to these certain things, and our approach to it is to continue to push forward. Mm-hmm. And rather than stay stagnant, some they go so far and they're like, okay, I'm good. We're always trying to push forward.
Yeah.
And as we continue, we push harder. Mm-hmm. And not that we invite problems or adversity. I'm not saying that.
No, we don't.
But because the more you try to grow, more that you actively grow,
Yeah.
there's going to be uh, equal measure.
Yeah.
Meaning
Yeah. Yeah.
there's I'm looking for
Well, there's risk and
there,
reward.
right, and there's consequence, right?
Right.
And so you have to deal with more. Your schedule gets busier. You're interacting with more people, different personalities.
You're opening yourself up to more.
More, right? More um
You're
points of attack.
more.
Right?
Yeah. You're more vulnerable.
More vulnerable.
Which is fine,
But-
because then you're able to impact more people.
And that's why, we have to be prayed up, and we have to be in our word. We have to know our word, not in our minds, in our hearts. It has to be in our soul, and understand these things. But the more we do that, the stronger we get.
Right.
Again, about working out the physical body. These guys these people that are bodybuilders,
Mm-hmm.
all right, they purposely go out and they strain their muscles
Mm-hmm.
to the point of exhaustion, right?
Yeah. They push it to the absolute limit.
Training in that way increases what they call as hypertrophy, muscle growth.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about straining your body to the ultimate. Now, look, there's debate on all different sides of this about in regards to heart disease. I'm just giving you an example, because the same can be said about our spiritual mind, our
Mm-hmm.
emotional mind. If you want something, if you're wanting your life to change, if you want to get better, okay, from where you're at, if you want to move forward out of that dark space and get to a normal life, what a normal life might look like, that's going to take you to step forward into some spaces that will make you uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable.
Right? And some resistance.
Right.
But again, we're talking about benefits.
Right.
What are the benefits? The benefits are that you'll discover something. God will show you something in you that you never thought was possible.
Oh, 100%. I wanted to show you what Annie said. Sustainability is what he gives us. That's exactly right. So God is giving us growth that creates sustainability through other adversity, so that you meet people and you go, wow, you're a really strong person. And I'm like, people say that to me all the time. And I'm just like, well, no, God has made me this way. God is the one carrying my burdens and my weight. God is the reason why I am able to deal with all the things I'm able to deal with.
Right.
Okay. And he's created in me sustainable strength through adversity. And this attitude that I have, like,
good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Mom. Adversity, like a taffy pull at times. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's like, really the resistance of pulling it, but you stretch, much further. Right. I love that taffy. I can smell it.
Actually, you know what that reminded me of? Taffy. I don't know why. Remember, my mom probably remember this. Remember my Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong when I was a kid.
Yeah, let's all be Stretch Armstrong.
Right? And that's really what we have to do. We have to sometimes stretch ourselves.
Exactly.
And then, what I loved about it is to stretch it, and then I just watch it retract.
You were the cute little boy with all your boy toys, all your your Stretch Armstrong and your Hot Wheels. Yeah, that's why you play with the girls with Hot Wheels so much. They love it. So here's the thing, we're talking about benefits today of trusting God. It seems like, well, duh, there's benefits of trusting God, but there's so many benefits we don't think about. It's that sustainability. It's that stability, not just sustainability, but stability, right? Gives us endurance and tenacity. It gives us steadfastness. It gives us peace, right? There's so many benefits that they're immeasurable. I could just keep naming stuff. It gives us joy. It gives us direction, clarity all day long. Trusting God in the process gives us the ability to see what is going to come out of it, this adversity, whatever it is that we're facing. And when we can see that, we're so much more able to deal with it. Imagine how many times have you been through something really tough and then something amazing happened on the other side of it. And you look back and you went, wow, if I would have known that's what it was for, I would have had a totally different attitude. God's asking us to have that attitude in the place of knowing. Instead, put it in trusting in him and know that no matter what God does on the other side of it, it's possible. Right. It's possible to have this amazing this be for a reason is my point. How many things have we gone through that we end up finding out were for a good reason or caused a certain, number of events to happen after that, cause and effect. This is just like we talked about with heart disease. You've been through absolute hell with heart disease, but it's caused us to be positioned to be able to do with our life the thing we always wanted to do was help people. Yeah. But now we're able to help them with such genuine, empathy because and knowledge about what it takes to live with heart disease, to live with something so incredible.
Right. Monica is a perfect example. I mean, she's had some hard times and yep. But because of those things that she's had to overcome, she's now able to help so many people. Mm-hmm. She's taken the lessons that she's learned and has applied it. And then even recently, the things that are going on in her life around her, mm-hmm. and now she's able to she's starting to learn how to take on these new challenges. And that, again, that's what I'm talking about is when the more you try to improve yourself, you start having new challenges. Well, yeah. I've never had to deal with that before, but then you learn those tools, right. And you get those skills and you start applying it. And I mean, Monica, she's just changing before our eyes, right?
Right, Monica, you're really, really going through another transformation, but you're absolutely right. There are definite benefits to your story. Monica is in the field of helping. Well, I guess is it just addicts or is it? What would you say?
Oh, what she said, Monica, you could chime in, but
yeah, go ahead and chime in, Monica, about like who you help because
she helps people that are struggling with their addictions.
Yeah. But imagine the need there. And who better to help people than someone who has traversed this path. So her adversity truly can speak right directly into the lives of those who are going through it and how to navigate out. And here's the thing is that it's not just that, oh, well, you're knowledgeable and you can speak into it. It's that people that are listening to you aren't going to listen to you if they don't think you understand truly how they feel, especially people with addictions. So, and really things like heart disease, when you go through something so major, you don't want to hear it from somebody who doesn't understand. I mean, how many people, here's the thing, we trust our doctors or we want to listen to our doctors as much as we can. There's a definite place for that. But when you be honest, when you leave your doctor's office, you're not like, man, that guy or that lady truly understands what I'm going through. It's not something that that you feel like when you leave this person's office. You don't feel like they truly get me, on a level that they've been through this, unless they've been through it. Monica says, all God's mercy, strength, homeless people and mental illness. Yeah. So that's a need. And with their addiction. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Monica's a transpiration. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is Monica is also being an inspiration to the people around her family, her kids,
her coworkers,
and her coworkers. Yep. Look, in doing what she's done, it's a stressful job. Not many people are equipped to do it, to do what she's doing.
There's no other way to be equipped than to go through it.
Right, and so she comes from a unique perspective, but. She's had her own health challenges, and then she's had her home life that has been, very unstable. But because of her tenacity, of the tools that she's been willing to learn and how to manage those things, she's she's getting stronger. And is she where she wants to be? No, but she's on the track. She's on
Right.
the path, and she has to put in the work, and she knows that, and she's going out and she's walking and she's doing things
She's inspiring people.
Right.
But think about what you just said. Is she there yet? No. We all think we have to completely. Whoa, I'm just going to knock down.
Yeah.
I just took out the mic. Sorry.
Jeez.
I talk with my hands. I'm kind of Italian. She thinks that she just has to. We all think that we have to. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. We think we have to be completely through the situation. We think we have to completely traverse the situation before we're able to help someone. And that's not what God wants to do. So if she wasn't willing to trust God through the process, she wouldn't be willing or able to help anybody or speak into anyone's lives or inspire anyone while she's not there yet, if it wasn't for her trusting God in the process. Because she's going, okay, God, what do you want to do right now in the process? Not, hey, later on when I'm fully the person that I've always wanted to be and I've completely become, the best Monica ever. No, you don't have to wait until then. Just the fact that you're willing to overcome something, just the fact that you're willing to fight, just the fact that you're willing to heal and do the work and trust God that he's going to do this work in you and in others, you become this light in the room without even trying. You are just the example. You are just inspiring. You're the person that becomes the impactor of people around you. You don't even have to do anything other than do what you're doing. You don't have to try to teach them. You don't have to have knowledge in, outreach. You don't have to be in ministry. You don't have to be a speaker. None of that. Live your life. In fact, that's the best example and most impactful example, a way to reach people. And the example is there right in front of their eyes. They can't argue with it. They can't argue with results. They're not listening to just your words. They're watching your actions. And that is a huge benefit of trusting God, is that now you're part of a bigger story that's bigger than you. And don't we all want to be there? Don't we all want to be part of something that's bigger than we are? Aren't we sick of thinking about just what we need and our own pain and what we want and what makes us comfortable and what blah, 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 blah. We want to know what our purpose is. Why are we here? What are we doing? Let's help some people. And when you start helping people, when you start impacting people and inspiring them through your own transformation story, through your own healing, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, there's people that want to know what I'm doing. There's people that want to cheer me on. There's people that see what God is doing in my life, and you all of a sudden become important to someone. And then all of your perspective changes on why you're doing what you're doing. You suddenly have more purpose, and it doesn't take much. It just happens. I mean, Monica didn't even, she's been working with us on all kinds of things. And, but while she's been on that journey of transforming, she didn't come to us for that purpose, right? She didn't come to us and say, well, I want to inspire everyone, so help me. No, it was for her, right? It was for her own health. But in the meantime, she's been inspiring all these people just because she's been willing to show up for her journey, just because she's been willing to trust God in the process. And it's a really amazing thing that it's not a one-sided, one-dimensional thing, trusting God. It is exponential, it is immeasurable, it has ripple effects, and it has layers to it that we can't even see in the scope of eternity.
Yeah. And then Annie brings up this, and it's so true. Now, this is a new type of addiction.
Yeah. Helping others. Exactly. And it's like, you just can't get enough with my bike in my living room. Yay. Oh, I love that. I love that you're exercising right now. This is great. It's something that, has completely changed in you. And here's the beauty of it. It's that you are still in the process. You can completely change everything. It doesn't mean that everything suddenly fixes itself. It's all about living our life day to day. The process is the important part. Why do you think God asks us to trust him in the process? He doesn't say, trust me when you get to your goal. Trust me in the process. The process is where we live life. The process is the daily stuff. The process is the beauty of and the nitty gritty of the daily moments that we go through, right? With our kids and our family and our loved ones and God and the things that inspire us. It's the daily little nuggets that we get and we go, oh, that's beautiful. Look at what I'm doing today. Look at this I had a moment yesterday where I reacted differently to something than I normally would. And I just looked at God and I went, look what you did. I would never have reacted that way before. And now I'm this person. What an amazing benefit of trusting God is finding the little gems and the little nuggets of the new you in your daily activities, in your daily conversations. When you're having these conversations and you realize you're a little more patient, you're a little more compassionate, you're a little more like the person you want to be. And you're just like, wow, that's like a miracle, when you had days in your life where you thought, there's no way I'll ever be anyone different than I am, because this is just who I am. This is who I was brought up to be. This is what they did to me. This is what this disease has done to me. This is where I'm at. I don't think there can be anything better. And when you reach that point where you're seeing all the little things that God's doing, he's in all those little tiny moments, and they all add up to a totally new person. And that's how you do it. You trust him in the process to build those building blocks of the new perspective, of the new health that you want, of the new life that you're trying to live.
Right. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out, and maybe we'll end it here, but remember in the devotional, they're talking about you're trying to gather or muster up as much trust in the process as you can possibly do. The word muster, that is an action word, guys. That is something that you have to actively engage.
Gathering up the trust.
Right?
Yeah.
You may believe something, you may want something, but without any action, you may even know something, you may feel passionate about something, but if you take no action, it falls apart. One of the things that irritates me the most right now about today's culture, especially social media culture, I'm all about awareness. I'm all about trying to spread awareness, but awareness is not anything if it doesn't follow through with action. And by the way, action isn't just a hashtag. Yep. Action isn't, hey, hashtag heart health, hashtag heart disease, hashtag whatever you want to do. You see people holding up signs and all these things, and they're doing something. This is me doing something. No, you're not doing crap. You're just holding up a freaking sign. You're just hashtagging.
Yep.
What are you really doing? When you're hashtag heart disease, hashtag heart health, hashtag fight cancer, what is it that you're doing? Are you just hashtagging it? Are you just holding up a sign? Or are you engaging? Are you going into those hospitals and helping cancer patients? Are you actually fighting heart disease or helping someone recover from heart disease? What are you doing? And I know this is a little bit off topic, but guys, mustering up your strength, mustering up your trust is an action word. You can't just take in the knowledge and hashtag something or say a word, a popular word, because everybody's saying it, right?
Yeah.
No, be the outsider. Actually do something. If we actually did the things that we hashtag,
it'd be a different world.
It would be a different world. If we want hashtag love, then you can't just ignore your neighbor.
Yeah, you say it's an action word, muster, and you're absolutely right. And I would challenge, I got hair everywhere. I would challenge people to this, is that trusting God in the process is an action. You can't tell if you're trusting God just if you're like in here, well, I trust you, but none of your actions show that. None of your decisions show that. None of your reactions to people, none of your interactions show that. None of your conversations show that. None of your habits show that. Your decisions don't show that. And you have to be in action with love. People say, well, love is an action, not a descriptive word, not just a thing like, well, I love you. Okay, well, great. Do you tell people you love them all the time and never show them love? No, of course not. Right. You should anyway not be doing that. You should be showing love. That's a verb. That's an action. So is trust. Trust should be the basis of, all your actions and decisions with people, right? It's same thing with God. So when you're mustering up this trust, right, that is an action. And you bring up all of that stuff about like, what are you doing? It's because that's what we think action is now. It's saying something. Yeah. That is not action.
It's not.
That is a perspective. That is a belief. That is a preference.
It's a bumper sticker.
It's a bumper sticker. And are you going to live a bumper sticker life where you believe stuff, but you never do anything about it? Or are you going to live your life where you're actually saying, hey, I went through this, guys, and now I'm going to do this. Who's with me? Because, we do live in a society. You talk about that, but what about these communities out there on all social media, not just like Facebook groups, but like forums and all this? We live in this world now where everyone wants to go online and go, I went through this. I need support. And that's true. I'm not trying to say everyone's a whiner. Okay. We all are whiners. I get it. We all go, I went through this, but here's the difference. There's two different kinds of people out there. There's people who go, I went through this. I need support. And then people say, yeah, me too. Praying for you. And then nobody does anything about it. Nobody does anything about their problems. They don't make any changes. They don't encourage each other to make changes. They don't say, what can I do for you? Let's do this together. Let's be accountability partners. Let's get healthy. Nothing happens. That is not trusting anything. That's not loving anything. That's not loving your neighbor. That's not trusting God in the process. That's doing nothing. That's saying, I get you too. And misery loves company right now. And there's the people over here who get something done. They say the same thing. They do the same thing. We all do it. We all say, oh, I went through this and this is horrible. I need somebody to understand me. But the reason why I want someone to understand me is so that I can have the support to make the changes I need to make, to go and do the healthier thing, to go and live my life forward and actually change something. I want support so I can take action, not support so I can be validated in my misery. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference. So trusting God in the process is not being validated in your misery, people. Trusting God in the process is trusting so that you can take action and be supported in your action, in your growth. Right. That's what trusting God in the process is about. That's the benefit of it, is that you can trust God in the process with other people. And that's part of the benefits, is that you have support from trusting God to take action. By the way, here's my favorite thing about it. This whole time we've been saying trusting God in the process, right? This discussion is not called trusting God in the stagnation. This isn't trusting God while you sit on your butt, trusting God while you go nowhere, trusting God while you give up. Yeah. Trusting God in your comfort zone. No, it's trusting God in the process, assuming that there's a process happening, right? There should be. It's funny. We talk about going through heart disease all the time, and actually just anything in our life. I always talk about how I feel like I'm on Mario Brothers, where the screen keeps moving. And I'm like, well, I guess time is like that. It just keeps moving. You're playing a video game and you're like, well, either I'm going to go forward and understand what's coming in the video game and be proactive and actually do something, because time keeps moving. The video game keeps moving. We have to level up, right?
If you stay still, what happens?
It just pushes me into the ditch. And then you're dead. But that's life. That's real life. And you have to be willing to level up and actually put in the effort. Otherwise, you just keep going through the same level over and over again. But here's the thing: in real life, actually, just like the video game, you get so many tries and then you're done. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You only get so many lives.
Yeah. So pull up Gainers.
Gainer, hey, the feeling you get when you help others is amazing. Yes, ma'am, it is. I've always said I wish everyone could experience it. I've been volunteering at the vaccination center and also helping feed the homeless. Oh, I love you. Yeah, awesome. Gosh, I love it. I love it.
That's taking action.
Taking action.
That's not a hashtag. That's not hashtag, hey, I got vaccinated today.
Well, my favorite thing is I haven't seen Gainer talk about this before, because action speaks louder than words. She doesn't need to say it. It's not about her getting recognition. I didn't even know that, Gainer. And that's a good example. We should all take that example, is that we should be in action, but we don't need to be like, prancing around with it. Hey, guess what I'm doing, everyone? Because that's not why we're doing it. We're doing it because it's good for us. It's good for others, and it's good for God. And it's something that we want to be. We want to be that person. When you wake up in the morning, who are you looking at in the mirror? Right? And that's part of trusting God. That's being in action and doing something. And it's not just about helping others in the world and volunteering. This is about waking up in the morning and trusting God in the process of your own health. This is about fighting heart disease, right? That's what we're talking about here. What about all the things you could be doing, right, for yourself?
Yeah.
So that you can help others, your children, your grandchildren, your family, your spouse, your neighbor, volunteering, whatever it is that you have your heart on. You can't do any of that stuff if you're not here anymore. Okay. Absolutely. And if you're here, you've got a process to trust God in. You've got the chance to actually be in a process. You get the second chance at life to be in a process.
Yeah. Monica's.
This is a right, take action, searching to get better. Let's heal together. Everything, trust him, and we'll give you strength. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And Annie says,
be the positive directional light. Okay, so this is cool. I love that the way you say that. Not just be the light, but be the positive directional light. I love that you say directional because a lot of us just want to be inspiring, but while we're being encouraging, are we really going to the next level and being encouraging to those around us to get them moving? Like, we all need to be in motion. Because we all know we should be that in just working out, right? Why do we say, well, a body in motion stays in motion? Well, a spirit in motion stays in motion too. A life in motion stays in motion too. So that's something that, remember, trusting God in the process is all about being in the process. And so we talked about a lot today. This is so much more than I expected out of today. And I think God's really speaking into this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you can't even talk and you're just going for it. I think you've lost your voice at this point.
Yeah. I'm going to suffer for it the rest of the day. But that's okay. It's all worthwhile.
Yeah, this is so good today, you guys. I'm just loving this study. This discussion has just it's really speaking to me this week. Absolutely. Okay? Okay. I was like, are you going down? Yeah, he's got the sore throat from Hades today. So look, if this is something that spoke to you today, like it did me, and I hope it did, because God said a lot of stuff today that I didn't expect. So I'm really hoping this spoke to somebody out there. But if this spoke to you and you want to share this, I ask that you would share it, comment, make sure that you're sending this out or sharing it on social with your friends and family, those out there that need to hear and see this. We never know who really truly needs this. A lot of people watch things secretly because they don't really want to share their pain with anyone. And you probably don't know exactly who needs to hear this. That's why we ask everyone to share this. It takes a mission of a group of people, a community. We're trying to grow this community of people to go out there in the trenches and sort of find the secret people out there that are suffering in silence. Okay? That's usually how it goes. And get them out of their trenches and say, let's do something. Let's have hope. Let's move forward. Let's get up out of there and live our lives. And you can. Most people want to. They just don't believe that it's possible. They don't know that hope is there anymore. And that's what we're here to do. And so as a community, if we could come together and share these broadcasts and share the word that there is hope, and that we all can come together and support each other and do this together so that we're not doing it alone. And that's why we ask you to share. If you're watching this from our YouTube channel, please share there too, comment, like, and subscribe to our channel. That helps us be seen more on YouTube. You'll also get notified if you hit that bell icon, if you want to get notified for broadcasts, live broadcasts, any content that we post on our nonprofit's YouTube channel as well. So anything else you got?
No.
We love you guys.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Have a great day. We'll see you next time. God bless.